Hey everyone, I'm Letitia Barriola. I'm the host of the Flourish 5. I have with me Rob MacCallum of Rooftops. Hey Rob, welcome.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
Yes, this is where our folks can come to get to know and love and shop premier Black-owned brands. And I want to dive into sort of the heart of your brand, which to me is sustainable goods from the ground up. Tell us why that's so important to you.
So I come from the sportswear industry, fashion industry. I work for brands like Nike, work for brands like Adidas. And I'm coming from the East Coast, moved here to Portland, and you can't really design here or get in a creative space here in Portland without talking sustainability and how important that is into building better product. Yeah. So I just really embraced that. And I saw how hard it was for these bigger brands that have been doing it for a long time to really dedicate themselves to sustainability. It's not easy, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wanted to do is start a brand that I controlled more. I controlled not just really about the designs, but how things are made, where things are made. So that was a big part of me stepping back, because the only way I saw that working was to build a smaller brand and just build it up with that as a foundation. So that was a big part of me starting RootsnRooftops, really focusing on waste, focusing on the content of my materials, where those materials are made, but really how the designs or where the designs are produced.
Yes,
was also very important for me. And I've done plenty of production overseas all my life, from Central America down to or over to Asia or South America. I'm sorry, Central America, South America, all the way to Asia. And I just really appreciate building product here domestically, the quality, the craftsmanship that goes into it. And I just really wanted to focus on production here in the US. And that also helped me to control that that dedication to sustainability here, producing here.
Yeah.
So when my first capsule was dedicated to Negro Leagues, a subculture called barnstorming. And this was the first experiment of me putting this concept together as far as how to produce product, was really focused on the material being the story. So for me, it was ripstop. I love ripstop. And how do you use that one material? And you might have two other fabrics that kind of support that. But then how do you use that main material, that main storyteller throughout the collection? How do you take that waste and move it into another style? Yeah. And you really have to work closely with the production company, the sampler, the supplier. So one of the things was my slugger cap that I'm wearing right now actually came from the excess waste of creating my overshirt, which is my slugger jersey. Yeah. So they had to take that excess material and physically take it to where my headwear was being made, which is also in LA. And you had to kind of work with both factories to make sure they get what they need as far as the quantity when they need it to make the next item.
So it's interesting. I want to point out here that, when the consumers hear all that goes into when they buy the hat or the bag behind you and all the thought that goes into the waste to the production and how it's moving around, I think that in itself is just more than giving people a bag, a beautiful bag or a hat. They are investing in a sustainable way to do things in the future, really, where we're moving, hopefully, in fashion. And I want to point out sort of like, what are people responding to the most on your brand right now? I know that for me, the bags are so functional, and the detail with the dye and where it's made and everything like that. That's my personal favorite. What would you say is your favorite on your brand right now?
Definitely the bags. The bandanas have done well. The bandanas are my nod towards your local tailor. So if you think of ties or certain items, some of that stuff he makes himself. He makes by hand, and it's almost like an extra when you go into a tailor to get those items. So like the bandana, I hand dye it and I sew it, and it's my interpretation of a tie, a well-made tie.
Yes.
And then also going into the bags, which are produced locally. Mm-hmm. So again, like I hand dye everything as far as with indigo. And then I have a production designer that I work with here, a creative, and he helps me build the bags. So I might have an idea, I throw it to him, and he tightens it up and makes it even better idea, and then produces the design.
Fantastic.
So I think all that goes into it, people really gravitate towards it, and that the fact that it's, I really use this tagline, built in Portland, because defining a Portland designer is also a goal for me. And I think one of the things that defines a Portland designer is building better product that's timeless, product you want to hand down to the next generation instead of just throwing it away. So that, I think all those things put into making the wallet bag, and then growing that as far as different bag styles, which I will be introducing this summer, actually in the next couple of months. And then that it's unisex. I think it really helps, just pull people into the product and really dig into the details.
Yes.
That goes into it.
Well, we're so glad to have you. So good. No, we are so glad to have you. So important that people understand when you the roots really of your brand. It's about your city. It's about your process. And I think that in itself is really powerful, and Black owned and self-funded, as you say. All of those reasons are why we're so glad to have you on Flourish. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bless.